Hello and welcome back to Little More Learning. Today we are going to start with selecting and filtering data in R. Once we understood our data set, the next step is to select specific columns and rows based on conditions. This is essential for focusing on relevant data and improving the performance. So the first stage would be selecting columns. In R, we can select column using three primary methods. The first one is using the dollar operator for single column. So initially we will load our data set. And this is the statement how you can extract the single column as a vector. And on executing this, it returns a vector containing values from the MPG column. The second way is using the bracket notation. Selecting a single column as a data frame. Here, this statement selects the MPG column but keeps it as a data frame instead of a vector. This is how it will return the column. Now, the next statement indicates selecting multiple columns. Here, it selects three columns MPG, HP and WT using the bracket notation itself. And that's how the output of this statement is given. The next statement is selecting column by their index. So this statement selects the first, fourth and the sixth column out of the data set. Lastly, it is using the select from dplyr library. Firstly, you need to import that library, select the specific columns. This library is specifically used to enhance the readability. So this is how the output will be. Next step is selecting rows. We understood how we can select columns. Now how we can select rows. We can filter specific rows based on the conditions using the bracket notation or the filter from the dplyr library. First step is selecting rows by index. So this statement selects the first 5 rows from the data set. The comma before the closing bracket ensures we select rows, not columns. Next is filtering rows based on some condition. So this statement selects rows where MPG is greater than 25. And we can do the same using the filter from the library and the output of that will be same. And this statement returns cars with MPG greater than 25 only. Now we can filter the data based on multiple conditions also. Here it selects the rows where MPG is greater than 20 and CYL is 4. And the same thing can be done using the filter function from the library. The next step is excluding rows or columns. Now, if you want to remove some specific rows or specific columns, you can again use the bracket notation and here it removes the first and the fourth column. The negative sign excludes the specified columns. The same thing can be done using the select function from the library. Apart from this, you can remove the rows based on their indexes. Like here, it removes the first 5 rows. And this space is empty because we only want to select rows, not columns. Next is selecting random rows. To get a random subset of rows, you can just use this command and it will select you 5 random rows out of your data set. Lastly, selecting distinct rows or removing duplicates, you can use this command. It removes the duplicate rows using the library we just got to know earlier. And this will be the output. So now that we can select and filter data, we will move on to sorting and arranging the data in the next video. Practice all these commands in your system with any of the dataset that you love to or this inbuilt dataset itself. And see you in the next video. Till then, happy learning.